Well, it is Heavy Lifts podcast time, and we have Michelle Ashley, the owner of Michelle Ashley. Is it Custom Creations?
Custom Cakes.
Custom Cakes.
Michelle Ashley Custom Cakes.
Gotta make sure I get that right. You bring a ton of energy, Michelle. I'm like, I want to just jump right into this because I know you as one of my tenants at 45th Parallel Building. And I also know you from just like your stature in the community, as well as someone who provides some of the best desserts in town and cakes and confections and things that make my mouth water. And, you know, when I was going to buy this building, I want to tell a story.
Yeah,
real
do
quick
it.
before we jump in.
Can't
Is
wait
that
to
okay?
hear it. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I was going through the rent roll, right, and looking at, you know, the tenants we had in the building, and I was like, wow, we have like a really diverse group of tenants, right? And I was like talking to management, and I was like, you know, trying to figure out which tenants are going to be the ones who are easy to work with and which ones are going to be hard. So we went down kind of the list, like who here is going to be like laid back, who's not. And your name came up as not being laid back, and I was like, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this one. But I'll be honest with you, since, you know, we've had ownership of the building, you've been great to work with, and I've appreciated just the way that you care about the building, you care about your business, you care about your employees, you care about your product. And I want to jump in and say, where did you get your energy from? Because it is infectious. Did I lob enough at you?
Thank you, first of all, for that story. Because I like to think that I'm easy to work with. I try to be diplomatic, but still this energy that you're talking about is so real. So I have to like contain myself because I don't know if I should have been diagnosed with like ADHD or ADD. I've never been diagnosed with it. I've never taken medication for it, but you know, I have to like think like I'm very active in my life, even my personality, all of it. So I'm aware of that. Sometimes I have to try and realize my situations and when to pull back, but it's who I am.
Where do you think you got it from?
My mom.
Your mom? Okay.
Yeah.
What does she do for a living? I'm curious.
My mom and my dad are both passed.
Okay.
But ironically, my mom and my dad both worked in military finance.
Okay. Really?
I grew up in a military life.
Okay.
And so my mom was civil service and my dad was active duty. And yeah, I grew up my whole childhood. My dad was high enough ranking that he kept re-enlisting and keeping his assignment over in Germany. Okay. So my first early years until I was 10, I grew up in Germany, and what an amazing childhood.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
That's cool. So sprechen Sie Deutsch?
No.
Okay.
It was required. It was required, but you know what? I forgot all of it. But I didn't forget my first phone number ever.
Okay.
42578.
That is a very short number.
Yeah, that's the way they were.
Just a military number.
It was in Germany.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So at what point in time did you get back to the States? Was it after 10?
Yes. Yeah. So about 10, we came back, and then we initially got stationed in California. So Wheatland, California, Beale Air Force Base. Okay. I went to middle school there, like grade school. And then we moved to outside of Sacramento to Citrus Heights. And I went to like 8th grade and then high school there. And then after high school, I stayed in California until I was 23. Okay. And then I moved to Texas. And when people ask me where I'm from, because I spent the most time in Texas, I tell people I'm from Texas.
Oh,
that's where I feel like my roots are, Sweetwater, Texas.
That's really cool. I want to understand this interest in confections and desserts, and like how did that come to be, you know, as your business? Because I look at, I mean, you know, my own personal like love obsession with sugar, right? Yeah. It's just like, it's chocolate, it's cookies, it's cupcakes, it's macaroons, like love all that stuff. And I think as Americans, we love those things, right? It's just like gets us excited because we're going to eat the meal, but dessert is like the thing you look forward to most.
Yeah.
So like, how did you get into desserts?
You know, I think really and truly, it's not just desserts, it's food in general. And it's not so much the love of food and desserts, but the love of making someone else happy. I mean, honestly, for me, that's always been where it's at. Like when I make you my best dish, I want you to really enjoy that because it comes from a place of love, right? I want to do something for you. And so
It's like more of a service almost, it sounds like.
You know, my whole life is service. It really is.
Okay.
And so this goes in line with that. But how I got into it, previous to this, in my previous life, I was a project manager for base startups over in Afghanistan, supporting the British Army.
No way.
And so I was a functioning drug addict, alcoholic. I don't know how, but I was a disaster. But anyway, at some point I needed to go to treatment and I just knew it. And there was no, everyone that came across my path, I was like, I need help. And one day I picked up the phone and I called Hazelden Betty Ford and I asked for help. I went there and they gave me the tools to get my life back. My husband came and he took the family program, and you know what I told my husband then is like, you don't have to stay married to me. I don't expect you to have to change anything. This is me, but I can't come home to drinking. I'll fail. And another thing I think that is kind of important to know is that I had to pay for that out of my pocket. That my insurance wouldn't cover it. $52,000. And I told my husband, I can't afford to mess this up.
Yeah.
We can't afford to do this twice.
Huge investment.
Right?
Yeah, to make it. You don't want to relapse.
And so my husband stuck with me. Went to the educational classes to learn how to support me. And I know a lot of people don't have that, but they also gave him recommendations on how to help me get a foundation under me. One of the things was I didn't want to go back to a stressful job. I was afraid that I would fail and fail fast. So I really and truly just took some classes at Joanne's to kind of like get everyone off my back. I'm out of the house. I didn't have any real pressure to go get a job, so I was just kind of taking it easy.
So wait. So you're telling me that you got into this business because you were an alcoholic, drug addict, and you were stressed out about work, it sounds like a little bit, and you were looking for something that was maybe less stressful. Creative, fun. I mean, I had no idea this was going to be my next career. I'm going to be honest. Wow.
I was just.
And so what year is this?
2014.
2014. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, fairly recently, if you look at,
So I have 11 and a half years in recovery. Yep.
Okay.
And so for this entire duration, I've been doing this. But when I went and took some classes, I got my certificates and, I kind of planned it out like a college plan, right? So one class takes about 3 months. So I was thinking, all right, so I got 3 months of the beginner class, and then the next one is like the intermediate, and then the advanced, right? So I'll just do it like college. So then my dad, I got a certificate, and I went over to Fred Meyer, and I said, hey, I heard that you were looking for a cake decorator. Like, I got these certificates. Will you give me a chance? They said, come on. We'll give you a chance. And it paid $9.20 an hour. Oh, my God. My dad was offended. My dad was like, don't you think you went and got a real job? Isn't it time for
was
this?
Was that minimum wage at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was like, don't you think it's time that this is over? Like, you went and got a real job? And I said, I've never quit on any of my dreams and goals before. Why would I start now? Not really knowing how impactful that statement was going to be. I left Fred Meyer and I went and rented a commercial kitchen. And long story short, I was doing it at my house. We were looking to get it out of my house because I won some awards through the Statesman Journal. At the time, they were prestigious awards, right?
Were they for like specifically cakes?
Yes,
Or, okay.
for like cupcake and dessert, maybe. I think, but nobody really knew who I was. And then all of a sudden, I won these awards, and people were like, "Who?" And I remember being on the front page of USA Today. Like I was like, "Oh my God, USA!" I'm at the door of people's hotel. You know, when they open up the door to get the coffee and the paper.
Yep.
There I am.
Yeah.
Right. So I had people like from Miami calling me. It was the craziest
so
thing.
cool.
It was so crazy. But
And Salem is such a small place too.
Yeah,
I feel like
right?
once you've achieved some level of notoriety, like that follows you around.
yeah, it does.
It means something here.
It does. You gotta, and I'll tell you about learning to take care of my reputation too.
Okay.
But one day, my husband and I decided we had to get it out of
Hold
our
on.
house.
We got to talk about your husband real quick.
Okay.
I love your husband, but I also love his name. Can you tell our listeners his name real quick?
Justin Timberlake. True story.
It's
Yep.
one of the most amazing, most memorable, husbands that I know of. Most people, you just kind of forget their significant others, but with JT at the helm,
That's
it's great.
right.
So sorry to interrupt. Just had to throw
So
that in there.
on a little side note too, he is completely opposite of me. He's extremely laid back, very very opposite, right? So we're so balanced.
He's a real chill guy.
Until if you hurt me,
Oh,
he's coming for you.
yeah.
He's at least coming to have a
He's
talk
Papa
with
Bear.
you.
Yeah, I
and you know
could
what?
see that.
I feel like everybody needs that. I have what I think people spend their whole lives looking for, and there's no fluff to that. I'm telling you, just a fact. I have it.
Okay? I love the confidence there, Michelle. That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So you have what he wanted, and
Well, what we have together is
yes.
so beautiful.
oh yeah, gotcha.
It's powerful.
Yep.
It's accountable.
Mm-hmm.
It's confident. It's soft. And it's loving in every way. It's a love that I've never known.
This
Never
conversation
thought
took a
that I
turn.
even
love
deserved.
this. And I think about my relationship with my wife, and it is complementary as well, right? You have to have a yin to the yang. There's a real
Yeah.
thing to that, right? But you need to have accountability, right? You need to have those soft moments, absolutely. But you need to have somebody who's in your corner, especially if you're a small business person, right? Because it is a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it's a battlefield.
Yeah. So let's go back to, your early days in this business.
Yeah.
When did you realize you wanted to have this business as your own? Or did you know right away out the gate?
No, I mean, it just kind of evolved.
Okay.
It kind of evolved. I never expected it to be this until they had changed the rules some, and I didn't have to rent a commercial kitchen anymore. I was doing it at my house. I had my apartment.
Yeah.
My apartment.
Yeah.
And I had a licensed business there, and it was taking over. And so one day we were out driving. We had been looking for a place to land, and we were driving down Hyacinth on the, and happened to look over at the 45th parallel, and on the front boardwalk, I call it the boardwalk.
Yep.
I think I named it that, by the way, because other people were calling it other things. Loading dock.
Yeah.
And
It probably didn't look
it's
as nice
the
back
board-
in those days.
it's
We
the
painted it,
boardwalk.
right? Yeah. Okay. The boardwalk.
But anyway, so we were driving by, and I told my husband, stop, wait, what is that? And so there was nothing out front but papers on the front doors. There was no front businesses out there. And he came around the side, and he came back, and he told me, he's like, so the guy that owns the barbershop. I'm like, barbershop? What barbershop? He's like, he told me about the places on the backside in the mall. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
And so we went, and I was looking on the back row, and there was maybe 2 businesses back there. And
It was early days
I
of this
saw a
building.
paper on the door
Yeah.
with a budget that was what I had in mind. And so it was a little bitty place I could call my own.
Yeah. And so you just went in there, and now was this the same place you're in now?
No.
Okay.
So that's a even better part of my life
That's
is
what I love
how I
about this.
moved.
Well, that's what I love about this building is that you can start somewhere smaller.
Yeah.
It's within your budget, and you can grow and get bigger, like where you're at now, right?
Yes.
And like, there's not a lot of buildings that can offer that. And I feel like, this building gets called a lot of different things, like mall, and it's like it's more than that. It's like so much more than that because it's not really a mall. It's a community.
It
right,
is a community.
of businesses. So you started small.
Yep.
And what were like the early days like for you? Was it just you working out of that like one small suite?
Well, I hired Chef Emma. She was still in culinary school.
Chef Emma, I love Chef Emma.
Everybody loves Chef Emma.
I see her. I see her every day
Yeah.
when I'm here,
Yes.
and it's like she's one of those employees you see. You're just like, you have so much respect because it's like she's putting her best effort every single day. I walk in the shop,
every
I see
day.
her, and
Every day.
and she's very quiet, but she goes about her business and just like, you're seeing the results of like these beautiful things you're making. And
Yes.
Like, so how did like she's been with you from day one?
Not from day one. I was about 6 months in.
Okay, 6 months in.
With me and a cake decorator.
Yeah.
And then Chef Emma came along. So I had 2 employees. And we were cruising along for a little while, and then COVID hit. Well, when COVID hit, it was already hard for people to find me, back here in the back, down the hall. People would call me all day long, like, where are you? I can't find you. And they're driving around, right? We have to come inside. And I remember that own surprise for myself with the barbershop, remember?
Yeah.
And so when COVID hit, and we were technically a mall, so we got closed down.
Yeah.
The people on the outer perimeter didn't suffer the same fate that we did.
Sure. Yeah.
But I went to bed one night and, I laid off my 2 employees, and I went home and I did what everybody did, right? I watched Netflix. I cleaned out closets. I did all those things. And then one night I went to bed and I woke up with an epiphany. It's a kind of epiphany that I believe that only God can give you. And so I told my husband, like, I know what I'm going to do. My husband took me to Lowe's and Home Depot because they were both open. And we bought cones and canopy tents, and I called my employees back, and I went on social media. I asked for volunteers, 6 feet, of course, with a mask. And we baked all the things. We baked cake, cheesecakes, brownies, everything you can dream up. And I bought these rolling racks, and we rolled it all outside. And then I went on social media, and I had a few people recruiting and a few more people recruiting. And I made $10,000 in 3 hours.
Woo.
I had 5. By the time I had my 5th, it was streamlined, right? I was running a 2-lane drive-through with runners and boxers and all these volunteers. I got Just Us Girls on board. You could get a coffee. You could have it brought to your car while you're waiting. Your order was placed, and by the time you rolled up, I was taking the payment for both lines. Thanking them for coming, thank you for coming, and all the things, taking their, people were literally throwing their money at me. Like, here, we want you to make it. It was the most. My bookkeeper at the time said, you came up over 200%. Gave me the money I needed to move up front.
And I love, we were talking before the podcast about, words to describe you, and grittiness is something we talked about, how you have this, like, you're always hustling. I look at you in the community, and I see a lot of small business owners who, do things differently, but not a lot of them, they don't always hustle, right? Like you do. They don't brand like you do. But, you have to have a lot of hustle and some ingenuity, right, to make it as a small business. And I think you exemplify that, like, especially here in Salem, where you have to stand apart, but you also have to be like beloved by the community to continue. And I think you've earned your way into a lot of people's hearts for that. So I commend you for that. And that story just kind of like reminds me of that, right? Because I feel like whenever you've had a challenge, you're like, you know what? Roll up my sleeves.
That's right.
And I'm gonna make things happen.
Well, you know what? Challenges or adversity is really opportunity. Those times I have learned, those are the times when something big is happening. Something big is about to happen. And so it's a new idea. It's a pivot. It's a new collaboration. It's it's what drives me to get out there and go find something new. Like, okay, this isn't doing it anymore. Let's go a different direction. Maybe I don't know what that direction is, but I probably know someone who does, right? I mean, I know a ton of people in all these communities. And so collaborations are where it's at. 100%. I sit down and I meet with people all the time that are like, "Ooh, have you tried this? Have you thought about this?" So I can't take credit for all the new ideas. I can take credit for the relationships, right? The relationships that help me grow. That's where it's at.
I feel exactly the same way. I feel like when I'm stuck sometimes in like my business, which is commercial real estate, like different from yours, but there's so many times when you're just like, oh, I'm butting my head against the wall and I just don't know what's happening. And then you talk to somebody, they're like, it's like a key. It kind of unlocks, something. And but you have to be social, and you also have to understand that like you have to be open, right?
Open-minded.
I think we both know like we can't do this ourselves. And back to Emma, I'm curious, like employees. I've come in your shop. I come in your shop a lot, but when I've come in there, I've noticed like you don't have a lot of transition from like your employees. So as a leader in a small business, I recognize that. I'm wondering, how do you do that? How do you make sure you retain your employees?
Well, first of all, not everybody would agree with my style of leadership.
Okay.
I consider my employees kind of like family. And I know there are bosses that don't feel like there's got to be this hard line of separation. I don't. My employees will go to the ends of the earth to do something to make me happy, to show me back the love and respect, right? When we're doing well, I give cash bonuses. I do team planning events, right? So team building events. We've done a bunch of things, from throwing pottery and painting, catered Christmas parties. We go around to other bakeries in the area, and I take chefs with me, and I let them pick out whatever they want to try. And then we'll go to the next one, and then we give them a shout out.
Take me sometime, Michelle. I love that idea. Research and development. I want to try some stuff.
And so we go and try to support other bakeries in our community as well.
Sure.
And so I think that that's the secret. I don't have to worry about them taking advantage of long breaks. I got to remind them, you have to take a break. It's the law, right? And so there's just so much love and trust. And I think that that's where the longevity comes from. There will be high schoolers and stuff that we bring in that turn over seasonally and things like that. And even they seem to stay for a long time. But the meat and potatoes in my business is right there.
And you've been doing this for, it sounds like, about 12 years or so, give or take. How have you set yourself apart in this Salem community? Because I know being in Salem, for about the same amount of time as a business owner, it's hard to stand out. It's hard to get trust from the community. So how have you done that?
Well, so for me, I've been able to strategically move myself from working in my business to working on my business, right? So that allows me to take over the marketing and all of that. I am the face in the brand. So I am out in the community every day. I'm going to networking events. I'm a member of the chambers in the surrounding communities, right? And so I think that it starts with those relationships that we were just talking about. So when you get to know, like, and trust, that's where it starts. Most of the people that come into my shop, they know me, they've met me, they're there to support me, and they're taking pictures and tagging me and like, Michelle, we love you. We love you so much. There have been times that I've had to reach out and say, oh my gosh, we're struggling, we need your help. They come like marching ants to support us.
And I love that too, because you see that post and you're like, you know what, like maybe I haven't been in a while and I need to go show up.
I love that. Support,
so
like, true.
My friend, or support my my tenant, or support this business. And like, again, it comes back to like community and like caring about like, a thriving business, right? And everybody can pitch in, right? It's so important. I want to pivot now to like where you're at now and where you're headed, because I find it just so interesting that you're in this. I mean, congrats on being 12 years in the business and starting from scratch, because that's incredible on its own. Now, like what would be? Here's a question for you. What would be like the biggest takeaway you've had in terms of like focusing energy on your business so far? What has given you like the biggest dividend in terms of that return?
My employees.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So also, we partnered with Salem for Refugees.
Yep.
And I needed a baker. I needed a cake baker to come in and work at night. And so one of my friends told me about Salem for Refugees.
Yep.
I reached out to them. It was not a type of program that gives me a check or a grant or anything like that. No. They said, okay, we have people that you can bring on board and you can train, but we recognize that you need one. We recommend that you get two. I was thinking, oh my God, I can't afford two.
Right.
Like I could barely afford one, but okay. But I dug deep and I said, all right. I understood the reasons. The reasons were so that they would have each other to partner with. They would have each other for a ride. I trained them myself. There was no Chat GPT. Yeah. They've been with me for 4 years, or maybe almost 5. This is before Chat GPT, so you couldn't really use Google Translate. Right. So teaching them at night was a visual thing. They didn't really speak English, so it was like butter, and then I would have them say the word butter and show them the word, hold it, and then sugar. So we went through this, and then there was an app called Tarjimali, and I would be able to get someone who was like over in Afghanistan on the phone, on the app, and they would be able to look at documents and read the document to my Afghan ladies. Yep. And so one of my Afghan ladies has gone off to college. And so the other one, we have moved her to our day shift, and we have kind of transitioned things. Another thing about the employees is we also partner with MV Advancements. It's adults with disabilities. And so we have a gentleman working for us right now. Oh my gosh, he's the best. His name is Matt, and he has Asperger's. He told me that he has Asperger's, and he has become a part of our little family. He is reliable and dependable and very focused. He really wants to do a good job, and we are teaching him our way, our recipes, and just the amount of focus he has. So I think we also have students from the Salem Kaiser School District, students also with some type of disability. So they come to us for a teaching environment, and we provide that. It takes an entire team. Yeah. It takes an entire team.
That's incredible when you think about the number of lives you're affecting positively, right? Somebody who comes from a foreign country, doesn't speak English, you're helping them learn. Somebody who has a disability and probably would have difficulty getting hired somewhere else, right? Somebody who's just trying to make it, as the first time, like as a younger student, right? Or that is incredible. And I think that's speaks to the powerful energy you can give as a business owner, right? But the fact that you're taking chances on those employees is amazing too. And I think people in the community really appreciate that about you. What do you want people to know about when they think about Michelle Ashley?
Quality.
Okay.
Quality and integrity.
Okay.
Right? I want you to come to me. I want you to have the best possible experience. And if it's not the best possible experience, I want you to come and tell me about it. I can't fix it if I don't know.
Yeah.
things are really going so well. Like everything is so streamlined. We've made a lot of changes. And so when I tell you that we have had one complaint since October, one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It speaks volumes to the team.
Yeah.
Right? And the effort that everyone is putting in to streamline things, to improve, and I could not be more proud. I could not be more proud. Our recipes are freaking amazing. Best cake in this town, 100% hands down. And I can't take credit for all that anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's a us, it's a we.
Yeah.
And so my team is definitely, they take a lot of pride in their work. And some of my highest sales are from my employees.
No way.
Yeah.
That's great.
That says a lot, you
Yeah, it
know,
does,
when I look at my sales reports and I'm like, holy smokes, Mercedes spent $50.
Yeah, they're buying the product. Well,
Yes.
that speaks volumes for your quality. So what do you want people to like, what do you have going on now in the coming months or this year that you want people to know about for your business?
Well, the website has had an overhaul as well.
Okay.
You can order a 2-tiered cake on there. That was not something that you could do before because the pricing structure was so convoluted and confusing. It took training just for my employees to understand it. Not anymore. I have simplified it. It is simply one price, and then if you want a theme, it's $25.
Great.
Doesn't matter what theme it is, we can make it happen and we can make it painless. And so I think the convenience of streamlined ordering, you can, like I said, just go to my website. You can order DoorDash through there. You can order cake, anything in the store, you can order right there. There's also a delivery service. That is a third party. But we will connect you with that. Usually, I still offer this. Right now, you can go to my website and you can connect with me directly through the chat option. So there's a texting, but also
Is that not just a chat bot? Is that the actual Michelle Ashley?
when you click on that, you're going to be chatting directly with me.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to try this out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Might throw a few zingers your way.
Also, if you, I'll be on my toes waiting for you.
Okay.
You also talk directly to me when you go through Facebook, which is kind of our preferred method.
Really?
But up till now, I think maybe because the website does give you that luxury of texting and talking directly to me, the email volume has went up exponentially, and that's not my favorite. Just to note, it is not. Email is not my favorite, but I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
But you can. I mean, everybody texts.
Totally.
Everybody texts.
So you're really in charge of, like you said, working on your business. You're the communications network. You're the place where everybody's going to get the answers, and then you're dishing it out to your team.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes. Well, we'll see how it all works. I'm going to go on a 3-week vacation this summer.
Oh, where are you going?
We're going to Sequim, Washington for a week, and then we're going to drive to Red River, New Mexico, and we're going to vacation with my mom's family that we haven't ever had an opportunity to do yet as a married couple, or vacation with my mom's family since my mom passed away.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, and I know when you're a small business owner, it's like you just don't have the time, or you may have the time, you just don't want to take it away because you know that if you're not there.
Yes.
But it sounds like you have the confidence in your team to take care of business while you're gone.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
You have to,
I think I'll still have to step in a little bit because it's my nature.
of course.
But I am prepared to be as hands off as much as possible and let them take over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, it has been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, and I appreciate you coming on Heavy Lifts. And you are a heavy lifter from all the stories you told and all I know about you. And I wish you continued success, and I'm grateful that you are a tenant here at the 45th Parallel Building.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
No, you're
Appreciate you.
welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Yep.